Everybody, welcome to Scarpad's Comic Treks. I'm Scarpad, and we have episode 9 for you of Star Trek Picard. And I think it's called L Transit something or other. What the actual title of the episode was. This was actually, I have to give it props, this is actually probably a pretty good episode, and probably the best episode of Picard I think I've seen as a whole show. The story was a story. The cast interacted well. The crew interacted well together. Overall, a decent episode of Picard, but if you buy the premise, and that, it all hinges on the premise. I mean, this episode picks up where the last episode ended. They're on the way to Soji's planet. They get there with the Romulan in tow. The Romulan suffers, damage the ship just like they do. These flowers, I don't know. They have these orchids that come up on the planet that grabs the ships and makes them crash down to the planet. They do that both with the Romulan, the Rios' ship, and the Borg cube. The Borg cube follows the Romulan through the transwarp tunnel. And it's funny, they get, the orchid thing is big enough to clamp on to both the Romulan and the Picard ship, but of course the Borg ship is huge, so it only pulls them down somewhat. It crashes to the planet and of course suffers a lot of damage. Fortunately, Elron, they finally remembered, hey, Elron's on the ship with Hugh. They finally acknowledge him after forgetting about him for 3 episodes. And they set off to go find the crash Borg cube, and they find Elron and 7 of 9 still there, and they have their welcome. They have the big sentimental scenes, and they all say goodbye. And 7 and Elron's going to work with the survivors of the crash Borg cube, the Borg that's left over, and they set off to find the colony. And this is where the twist comes in. Spoilers for anybody that hasn't watched the episode yet. You may want to shut me off. But they find yet another Dr. Soong, played by Brent Spiner. Now, we've had a young Dr. Soong in Star Trek Enterprise. We've had older Dr. Soong in... actually, I think it was a relative of Soong. It was Eric Soong. It was Eric Soong in Enterprise, Noonien Soong in The Next Generation, and now we have yet another Soong, his son, I believe. Who marries this guy? Obviously it's a human, so they're all human. Who married this guy to give him sons? I don't know. The guy was wacky. So of course, he's carrying on the work. He has all these androids there. So there's, different sets of twins made to look like androids, and they find Soji's other twin, who's the evil. You could think of it as kind of the lore to Data. She's the evil twin, more or less, and they plan on, because the Romulan fleet's coming and the Federation of the bad guys now too. They're gonna take over the galaxy and kill everybody. This really reminds me. This story has very strong vibes back to a first season Star Trek, the original series episode called What a Little Girl's Made Of. And if you remember back in that episode, Christine Chapel's fiancé, Dr. Roger Corby, has a grand plan to create a race of androids that are going to infiltrate the galaxy and take over everybody. Ultimately, this is what their plan is now going to be. So once again, Picard is borrowed from past stuff to create its narrative. I just don't buy the fact that these Romulans are so anti-synthetics. I mean, it was even said in the Next Generation that there's Romulan cybernetic scientists. I mean, this whole story hinges on this, and it falls apart under its weight. But we get some nice interaction. We get really a terrible scene where Picard and Raffi have to declare their undying love to each other. It gagged me with a spoon. But other than that, the crew works pretty well. I like Rios. Raffi's good to a certain extent in this. The crew really acts like a crew in this. So where they're going to go in the next episode, well, we're already seeing that O is now decked out in full Romulan garb, leading the war fleet of 218 warbirds coming to the planet to destroy it. I'm sure we'll get the Federation arriving in time because he's already tried contacting them and they're supposed to be on their way. I don't understand why. I guess they were able to go through the Borg's corridors, but the other fleet aren't, so they're significantly behind them. I don't know. As I said, it wasn't a bad episode, but I just don't buy the plot. They pulled another Soong out of their asses just to further that plot. But we'll see where it goes. I hope they wrap it up. I don't know what season 2 of Picard's going to do. He's apparently getting sicker. Are they going to cure him of his problem? My guess is they might, because he's supposedly coming back for season 2. We'll see. I mean, I hope it ends. I hope it's not a cliffhanger. But you also saw in one of the flashbacks the cybernetic lady that's in Discovery. So I think this is going to tie into Discovery, which is not going to make a lot of people happy because they don't like Discovery. So at this point, I like Discovery better than I like Picard. So we'll see what ends. We'll see where it ends up. Back next week for the finale, and maybe we'll do an overall look at the show after that. So that's Star Trek Picard. Probably the best episode of the series, but I don't know if that's really saying too much. We'll catch you guys later. Remember, keep reading, keep trekking, and have a good day and stay safe, everybody.